Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SCUM 1.0. We're going to be jumping into this Let's Play series, and there are two options to get started. There's multiplayer, which is the PvP aspect. You can join private or official servers. If you've ever played a game like Rust, you'll understand that. However, we're going to go into a local sandbox mode, so we can just enjoy the game and learn the game and not have to worry about a few different things. We don't have to worry about vehicles being stolen. We don't have to worry about our base being raided, and we don't have to worry about getting headshot from across the map. All legitimate concerns on the official or the live servers. So what we're going to do is click create. It's going to take us into a character customization. Now there are 4 different attributes. There is strength, constitution, dexterity, and intelligence. They all work on different things, and they all range between 1 and 5, but can be raised to 8 with proper diet and physical activities. So 8 being the maximum score that we can get in all 4 areas if we absolutely min-max to perfection. I'm going to leave the private parts concealed for the fact that I'm monetizing the start of this YouTube video and I don't want any strikes on my account. But you can adjust, or just leave everything as standard, but you can adjust settings and have some fun with it as well. I'm going to leave all of my appearance as standard, and we're going to come into the skills selection. Now, normally you will want to work on selecting your skill points and distributing them. And you can go from no skill to beginner, or from basic, medium, or advanced. And you have to try and min-max and figure out what you want to start with. For example, in survival, if I have survival as basic, I will start with north on a compass, because it gives you some understanding of things like the compass. Less items needed for crafting, unlocks different crafting recipes. So having the difference between basic, medium and advanced in skills gives you certain bonuses. I would say, whilst most people will tell you to always go for running and endurance in this patch, this is kind of the meta, I'm going to keep everything with no skill, and I'm not going to assign any points. You might think I'm crazy, kind of a bit of a hardcore mode, but we're going to skip our unallocated skill points. And we're going to start like this. This is our blank slate. So there's going to be an intro video. We're not going to watch that. But the concept is that we are a prisoner on an island that is being televised for people's amusements. And we've got to try and escape. So it does ask us if we want new player protection. I'm going to say no to that. And then we're going to jump straight into the start of the game. Okay, so now that the game's loading, we're going to start by being thrown out of an aeroplane. And this is the map, Scum Island. Again, we need to escape. That is the goal. You can't actually do that in the sandbox mode at the moment. But we're going to start here. And, right, there's not really much we can do at the moment except just look around, try and figure out where we are and where we want to go. So we can press M to open up the map. See our dot here, our red dot. We kind of get the idea of where we're starting and where we want to go. So we're going to land. We're just going to have a little look around. But there's some buildings over here. So this is a good area to kind of start. It's not too busy. But initially, as we come down, we're going to land just to the offside of this. We'll open up our parachute. And we'll just start kind of just outside. We can head up to this area in a minute, but let's just get ourselves sorted with some basics. Now, when you land, initially, you will have a tutorial mode. I've disabled it for the purpose of this. I'll talk you through the basics. We'll spend the first kind of 30 to 60 minutes going over the very basics of the game, and then we'll just crack on and we'll get started. So, quick orientation. Bottom left, you've got audio and visual. They're 2 things you want to take into consideration. We've got the health. We've got our stamina, which as we're moving, you'll see there's a kind of an exertion bar, which is green, yellow, or red. The more you exert, the quicker your stamina will deplete. Next, we've got energy, and then we've got hydration or water. So, that being said, let's jump into the menu by pressing Tab. Right, some basic menu overviews here. Inventory screen. You can see there's 6 screens along the top. On the left, this is our items that have inventory spaces. We can see the temperature. So this has got 1 point in temperature, 2 points. Keep us warm or cool. If it's wet, and if it's wet, how much additional weight it carries as being wet. And how much we can carry total and what we're currently carrying, plus any inventory space. You You can see the condition of the item. As the condition deteriorates, you can carry less stuff. You can repair things. You can also right-click on them to do stuff to them as well, including washing them. Because items have a weight, they have a wetness, and they have a dirtiness attribute to them. This is everything that is equipped on our character. We can either take stuff off or we put it on. And if we do take stuff off, we lose it on the side. So yeah, just having the ability to do that. And you can see how that affects what we're doing, whether we're hot, cold, etc. Vicinity is stuff that is around us. So if we move away from this, it's currently in our vicinity. If it is not, we can no longer interact with it. So just bearing that in mind. That is vicinity, inventory, and how that works. On the right side, we've got holsters. So this is left and right shoulder and what is in our hands. And then any quick access if we want to grab stuff. In the top right, we've got fame points. I mentioned this is a TV show. So just by cancelling the tutorial, we've got 2 fame points. But we've managed to sort of start any gold that we've got. So later on, we can purchase gold. And we can use that for respawning in our base. And then money in the bank, how much money we've got in the bank. So you'll notice we start with a bank card. The bank card offers no protection. Now, most people will tell you to destroy this when you start because it takes up inventory space that you don't need. We don't actually care about this at the moment. When we go to the bank for the first time, we can get another one of these cards. So we don't need this, but it's got a daily withdrawal limit and a daily deposit limit. But we don't need it right now, so we're just going to destroy it. It serves no purpose for us. When we go to the bank, we can get another one. Also, because it's got no protection, if you're on PvP and someone loots your body, they steal your bank card, they can access all your money. So we'll have a PIN number if you've bought a better card. All right, that being said, that's the basics there. We need to start by crafting, and the only way we can craft initially is we have to find some rocks. So you'll always see them on the floor. It's kind of like a little white clump. You're looking for a raised up clump here that we can interact with. You can interact with pretty much anything, most stuff anyway. And when you do, it shows you on the floor now. We can interact with this, which means we can come to our crafting screen. When you come to your crafting screen, the holster that was on the right side gets moved to the left, and you can now tab between them. And on the right, we get 3 new tabs: items, base building, and cooking. So for items, there's a lot of different items. It can be overwhelming, but don't worry. The basic way to consider this is these are categories, and they're all down the left here. So in terms of categories, we can start here with ammunition. So this is just all categories, favorites, and what is currently craftable. Ammunition, melee weapons, ranged weapons, explosives, clothing, fishing, lockpicking, tools, and cosmetics. Now, some stuff that we might want to craft is going to require either a toolbox or is going to require a workbench. Now, we can craft a workbench, but anything that we create at a workbench is going to be 50% less durable than if we were to use one in the world. The game really wants you to interact with the world. Looting is a big thing, and going into towns is a big thing. It doesn't kind of just want you to be a hermit. So there's no real incentive right now for building a base other than a place to store loot. That's the only real purpose of having a base. You can create a bed, but you can create a bed out in the wild. And a bed and a fire is all you really need. That's it. You can hide things. If you've got a shovel, you can hide loot. And most people will argue right now that stashing loot boxes around the map is better, especially in PvP. So if you die, you can just go back to your loot box. But ultimately, the game doesn't really benefit base building, even though you can do it. And in terms of base building, you first need to put a flag down. This claims your land. And then you can build bases. So again, here you've got your basic modular framing elements. Then your general building inside and things like that. You've got storage, which you can build. We can build storage in the real world right now. We don't need a flag for that. Just to bear that in mind. Traps that we can put down, utilities, including a fire, and some miscellaneous items. So some basic stuff that we can do, including a wheelbarrow, which is nice for moving things around. Finally, we've got cooking. Lots of basic things that we can cook in the game. I'm sure they're going to add more stuff in the future. The game's just come out of early access, so it does need a round of polish. Developers hopefully are going to work on this. It'd be really keen to see if they build this out, make more use for bases, and do stuff like that. Health is the next tab. So this shows us all of our basics. We've got so much detail in this game. Beats per minute here. We can see there's an electrocardiogram. our oxygen saturation, our respiratory rate, carbon dioxide, temperature, any symptoms we've got. So right now we're feeling a bit cold. And then underneath here, we can see these are any untreated conditions. Once they're treated, they become stabilized. And then after that, they go into recovery. And this just shows us on the body at the top. So we can turn on or off. So we can see where any of our problems are. Now, one of the things in this game is that problems stack very quickly. So you want to be able to deal with them. Most stuff it's triaged. It goes from C1, condition 1 to condition 4. After condition 4, you die. Condition 1 will heal itself. Condition 2, 3, and 4, typically you will need to interact to heal with. Not always, but in the case of bleeding, that's true in some things. So we've been and we've got these stones. So now if we go to crafting, come back to the crafting menu, we're going to go to items. We're going to look at what we can craft, and we can craft a stone knife. So that's what we're going to currently do. We're going to craft a stone knife. We can cancel anything by just clicking here. And then it will go ahead, take a little bit of time. We can press tab and come out of this. We can look around, make sure there are no threats or anything around us, because that's important. And now we've got a stone knife. It will craft it onto the floor. So we have to have a right click and pick it up, or we have to drag it into our inventory. We can also, if we want to, drag it onto our pants. Now this is here. So we can kind of see everything that's going on. The first thing that the game guide's going to tell you to do is go to manual and look at the codex, where it's going to teach you all about the game, and you can look at the absolute basics and everything that you need to do. There's also some basic tasks that you can do, but I have disabled them for this video. But yeah, there's some basic tasks that you can do that will get you some additional fame points to get you started. Journal just shows you any... so these are the tasks. The journal here is going to show you any active quests and where the outposts. So there are 4 outposts, and they all have quests for you to complete. You need to complete the general goods trader quests before the armor one will unlock, so on and so forth. And they're cycled as well. So typically on a server, it's every 24 hours. But on the server, if I press escape and go to server settings, I can change things. So what I've done in this is I've allowed first person view. I think this is vital. You need this. And I've also, in terms of the world, if I go to the weather, I've changed the sunrise and sunset time. So they're the only changes that I've made to this game. In terms of respawns, again, there's a lot of different things that you can do and play about with here. I'm not going to go into any of these categories. I'm not going to mess about with them. I'm definitely not going to change anything. Everything's going to be left as standard, but just know that these are things that you can interact with. Lots of different options here and things that you can do. So again, left everything as standard because I think it's important to do that as you're playing through. I don't want to change anything. In terms of general, everything there as well, all left as standard. Cool. Changed a couple of options as well, just keybinds and things like that. Otherwise, right, we're good to go. The last screen to show you is the big one. This one's overwhelming when you first look at it, but let's break it down. Ignore the right side for now. Look at the left side. You have 4 base stats. Your strength, your constitution, your dexterity, and your intelligence. They are either going to be red, blue, or green. Green means you are gaining. So because we are getting fat loss at the moment. So fat loss, if I hold down control, left control, I can see here my ranges are between 1 and 5 as standard. Again, they can be boosted to 8 with proper diet and proper exercise and stuff. But at the moment, this is going up because I'm affected by fat loss. So it influences, it tells you how to raise it. So it's raised by a calorie deficit. It's lowered by too much. So I've got to manage my diet to manage my dexterity. It influences movement speed and action speed, including crafting, eating, and reloading. So this affects thievery, demolition, stealth, driving, motorcycles, or aviation. All of these, again, are starting at 0. I have to do things in this. So, for example, intelligence, if I look at medical, so every time I treat a condition, I will gain skills. And when my skills are maxed out, I can do better things. So strength, constitution, dexterity, and intelligence. That's quite straightforward, quite simple. This is your character and how you will progress. And if you die and you respawn, you will keep these stats. Basic info. This is where it gets a little bit crazy because you've got teeth. At the moment, we've got all of our teeth. But if we face any physical trauma, if we take a blow to the head, we can lose our teeth. If you lose all of your teeth, yes, you're going to have trouble eating. That's the level of depth of this game. Just bear that in mind. We already know that our clothes can get wet, and then that can affect things if you're in like the snow, like hypothermia. So many things to consider. So many things to consider. Even things like the weight of your gear, everything from walk speed, jog speed, run speed, any penalties, all of your action difficulties that are affected and what affects them, how quickly your body processes nutrients, and your body mass distribution. So a hell of a lot of stats to consider here, which is what makes this such an incredible survival game. On the right side, this looks overwhelming, but let me break it down for you. It's quite simple. And in fact, you're going to spend more time finessing over your character than you probably will your body in real life. But it might teach you something. So at the top here, energy and water, these are your base. This is what it's all about, energy and water. And if we come out of this and we look in the bottom left, energy and water, we can see them there in the icons in the bottom left corner of the screen. So 85 and 87 at the moment, that kind of represents these two. We get everything that we get, energy and water, first has to come through the stomach. So whatever we eat and drink in this world is either going to heal us or kill us. You know, you can take drugs. Drugs can end up killing you if you don't cure yourself. You can end up hallucinating. There's so much that can go on. But yeah, so food. Also, if you run out of stamina, your body will start, you've got body fat. So your body will start to eat your body fat. After a while, you'll lose muscle. If you've got no muscle, you're going to be weaker in fights. If you've got no energy, you're not going to be able to fight. And so you can be overwhelmed very quickly in this game by not managing your body properly. So food goes into the stomach, it's processed into the intestine. From here, it then absorbs into the blood, and that will go into macro and micronutrients. So macro is protein, carbs, fats, fibers, and sugar, saturated fat or alcohol. Of that, some of it will be food, what will go into energy. Some of it will be water. Any waste will go into either the colon or the bladder. And then your vitamins and minerals, which if you press control over any of these, like vitamin D, you can see what you need. So mushrooms, cornflakes, eggs, they're the kind of things that are going to improve this. Okay, protein we're going to get from things like meat or sunflower seeds or even cheese. Saturated fat, we're going to get that from crap, animal fat, butter, crisps, chips, things like that. So we're going to try and manage our body. All right, that's the goal here. But the first thing we're going to do, we've made ourselves a basic knife. So let's start with crafting. Our first goal before we do anything else is going to be craft ourselves a weapon. All right, we need to be able to do that. So we're going to come over here. And we're just going to cut down these bushes. And this is what we need the stone knife for. We're going to make ourselves a spear. Now, in the tutorial, it will take you through the basics. I'm not going to follow that. I'm just going to do what I think is best. So initially, I don't really want to make ourselves a normal spear. Instead, what I want to do is try and find some more stones. So I can search the rocks. I can find myself a couple of stones. All right, I can come over here and I can actually make myself, if I go to crafting, melee, I can make myself a wooden spear. Or if I work on making some rope, I can actually make myself a stone spear. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bother with that. The reason why, I might want to go straight for a metal spear. That would be better. I'd recommend that. I'm not going to bother. Again, what I'm going to make instead is a small stone axe head. I think this is vital. This should be one of the first things you make in the game. For that, we're going to also need to make some rope. Rope is something we're going to be crafting a lot of. So we're going to set this by right-clicking as a favorite. So now if we look at what we need for this, rope just needs some small wooden sticks. We've got here small logs. We can see all this stuff on the floor. We've got long logs as well. So 0.2 is a small log, 0.4 is a long log. So I can take a long log, right click, and I can cut it into small sticks. So one big log, or one big stick will give you two small sticks. So we're going to do that to start. That is basically going to give us enough to craft some rope. So we'll go ahead and make this rope. Then we can come back to our melee weapons. And again, we wanted to make a stone axe. We needed 10 rope, 1 stick, and 1 axe head. So the first thing we can do now is craft this. And I think this is an absolute must when you're starting. This is the first thing that you need before you do anything else. Okay, so from here, now we've got this tool. We can pick it up. and it's going to put it on our back. So looking at our holsters, we can go on our left or our right shoulder, and that will just sit there. Good. All right, the second thing that we need to do is go and find a tree to cut down. So we can cut down those bushes and that's fine. But actually what I want to do is cut down a tree. So find a nice big tree, cut it down. This should be your the first thing that you do before you do anything else. All right, so our goal is more inventory space. We need to be able to defend ourselves. So from this, we're going to get wood logs that we can cut into wooden planks. And we also get a tree branch. The tree branch is what we're after, because we can cut this down with the axe. By the way, the stone knife, as you can see, doesn't last that long. This lasts a lot longer. And we can cut down trees with it. So that's going to allow us to, well, you'll see how many sticks we get as a result of this. All good. Now we've got an abundance of sticks. So the first thing we want to do in crafting is we want to make ourselves a bow. To make a bow, we need long stick and we also need rope. So we know we need rope. So we'll go ahead and craft some more rope. We've got the sticks now. We don't need to go mess about. We can do everything from the floor. So we're just going to use this as a little kind of place to work from for a minute. All right, now we've got our rope. We can come and make ourselves a bow. Now there's two different bows, a 20 and a 35. This is the drawstring. So a draw weight, we don't have any strength at the moment, which means if we were to pick up like a compound bow right now, we are not strong enough to pull it back. So we're going to start with the basic bow because we have no skills. And yeah, everything as we can see. So even just crafting, we are working on our constitution. So as long as we're not standing still doing nothing, we'll be good. We'll put our bow on our back. We've done that. And now what we need to do is craft ourselves some arrows. So we'll go to ammunition. We're going to make some wooden arrows and we're going to auto craft. And we're just going to use all the sticks we've got here to make some arrows. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, we can't carry our arrows because we don't have anywhere to put them. And for that, we're going to have to come to clothing and make an improvised courier backpack. This, again, is the first thing we need to do. For this, we need some rope. So we're going to cut long sticks into small ones. Again, we need 5 of these. So we're just going to take all of these long sticks and we're going to make them small. That will give us enough to make rope and the rest of our arrows. We also need some rags. Now we don't have any rags at the moment, so we're going to have to cut our socks up. So we can right click on our socks, cut them up. It's going to make us a little bit colder, but we're currently in the desert, so it's not a problem. I say desert, it's based on Croatia, so it's kind of got a kind of Eastern European kind of vibe to it. There's some buildings. Most stuff's abandoned though. And there's 3 main biomes, so I've got to do my undershirt as well. I didn't get enough rags from that, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to do this as well. Depending on the tool you use, sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 3. Right, so I've cut up all my undergarments. Right, that's given me enough. So now I've got enough rags. I can make some more rope. And that is going to allow me to make the improvised courier backpack. So rags, rope, and a cutting tool. And I can equip that here. And that's going to give me some more inventory space. The next thing that I'm going to want to craft, and I don't have enough rags for this, but the next thing I'm going to want to craft is going to be an improvised quiver. So an improvised quiver is going to allow me to have more space, but this won't last more than a few days. So it's just a bit of extra space to start with. Now I can cut up my shirt, but then I would lose an inventory space. I would lose space for that. So, and I need 5, and I don't have 5. I only have 1. And a shirt isn't going to give me 4. So I could go naked, but it's not worth doing that at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip that. We'll take that rag with us. And now we can put the wooden arrows in here. So we've got somewhere to put our arrows. I'm going to go ahead and just cut these up. I'm going to make 12 arrows because that's how many I can carry. And that's the basics. We've got a weapon to defend ourselves. We don't actually need the stone knife anymore. We could, at this stage, get rid of it. We simply don't need it. I'll keep it for now, but it's not serving a purpose because we're using the axe instead. And you can see the durability of this axe is starting to go down quite a lot. But let's go. We've got 4, so we want to make another 6. We've got enough now to do that. So let's craft some more arrows. And that, at the very basic level, is what we need to start. You need a bow and arrow. You need something to defend yourself. And I recommend an axe over a knife. I don't think you need a spear at the start, because if you have a spear at the start, the problem you're going to have is you've got a spear, a bow, and an axe. And every time you interact with something, you'll drop what's in your hands because there's nowhere to put it. So I don't recommend having those 3 at the start. It's too much. Okay, that's now full. We've got 12 of those. In fact, if I pick up the extra one, now if I put an arrow in there, there you go. You can see I've got 12 plus an arrow here, so I'm good. Now I'm good to go. Right, I need to be able to find food and water. Okay, we need to find food and water. Now, initially, I can just start searching anything out in the wild. So I can look for bushes that I can interact with. Some may have food, like this has got some olives. So I can check the taste. It's mild. Okay, I can eat that. Now, as a result of eating this, you're going to see the olives are in my stomach and they are being processed. I can see energy, protein, carbs. I'm seeing exactly what I'm getting from this. So now, because I've got 2 of those, I'm just going to eat them. They're going to process into my stomach, into my intestines, and then they're going to filter over time. So that's the kind of starting point of what you want to do. Now, some bushes you can cut, some you can't. But we need to find a better food source, and we also need to find water. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into a bit of a built-up area, but not too built up. So if we look on a map, there's a few buildings here, but nothing crazy. Typically, because we're not on a PvP server, there's 3 things we don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about our vehicle being stolen. We don't have to worry about our base getting raided. And we don't have to worry about getting headshot from across the map. All legitimate concerns. Instead, what we need to worry about, because we're on a local server, is NPCs, which are like players. They're AI control players, and puppets. Puppets are like zombies. Now, puppets are relatively easy to kill on their own, but if you make a lot of noise or you alert them, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a puppet horde. And a puppet horde is when loads of them start chasing you and you get overwhelmed very quickly and you die. So, puppets on their own, easy. Puppets in a group, not so easy. NPCs, they're quite clever. They're quite good. They can have guns. They can shoot you. You can get into problems with them, so you need to be careful. So the bigger the area, the more chance of an NPC spawning. But any typical area will have at least a puppet. Now, you can pick up your bow and arrow and aim, but it's really hard to aim. So I like to go into first person, because now I get a crosshair. Just makes it a little bit easier. Now, we're currently being seen because at the moment we're wearing a bright orange jumpsuit and we're out in the pub. You can see our visibility. If we went and hid in a bush, again, we're in a bright orange jumpsuit, doesn't help. If we get better clothing, that's going to help us to help camouflage ourselves. And also, if we have a look at our stats, we're going to see that in one of these, if we look at, it's in intelligence, we've got survival, we've got camouflage. So it's raised by hiding in foliage, and it influences the visibility of other players and NPCs. Not so much puppets. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk slowly. We're going to walk without making too much noise. We're going to have a look and see, are there any puppets? Now, NPCs will fight puppets. So if we can't see any puppets, there could be an NPC. But also it just might be that it's abandoned and nothing spawned here. So I'm sure we'll find something as we get a bit closer. So all we're going to do now is loot. And that's really the basics of this game, is to level ourselves up. So any container that we can interact with, cars, anything like that. This has got a radio. Now we don't have any storage at the moment, so we can't really do anything. We're also just going to get rid of that extra arrow. So we can't really do anything with this at the moment. As a result, we're going to look for food. So any farmland or anything like that. Anything we can interact with. So in here, if we look at the vicinity, look, there's some construction rubber boots. So get rid of our trainers and we can put some rubber boots on instead. Could be better for us if we want to run. It's a tractor headlight, not really worth anything for us. Right, so not really much in here. As we look around the map, we'll start to find farms and other things. Again, just looking around. Could find like orchards and things like that. Here, nothing in here. But these are like bird cages, so feathers in places like this. Some of the trees you'll be able to search, but overall, not really much around here. We'll take a look in the stables. Okay, so looking in the vicinity if there's anything around. If not, we'll search in here. These barrels, if we can open them, sometimes have grapes. And you'll realise every container has its own purpose. So here we get some pumpkin seeds and some fertiliser. Good for farming. So come to a barn, you're going to get farming supplies. Go to a police station, you're going to get guns and ammo. You kind of get the idea. So looking for food. Now, foraging food is one thing. Cooking food is quite another. We can search in here, pile of bricks. Going to get some stones. Let's go check out the house. Again, still looking. Now, this game gives you very good audio clues normally, so we're going to listen for the audio clues. All right, there's some bolts there. A few things in the car. Now, there is something else. Oh, this is exactly what I was just about to talk about. Okay, so before we go any further in this, I'm actually going to show you a map. Now, the map in the game, unfortunately, isn't that good. And as a result, you're going to struggle to know what's what, especially if you've never played this game before. If you've never played and it's first time playing, you're going to need a little bit of help. So what I recommend is a website called SCUM-maps. SCUM-map.com. SCUM-map.com. And I'm just going to quickly show you this. This is an interactive map, and basically what I think the developers should have added to the game. I know that when you're inside the game and you're looking at the map, you can't zoom in, you can't zoom out, you can't do anything. It's just there. That's the map. So to break this map down really quickly, you've got yellow, which is main roads. You've got white, which is dirt roads. And anything orange is a built-up area. You've got 4 safe zones, which are outposts, which you can trade from. And everything else is a mystery. There are 3 biomes. You can see there is a winter biome here, or the snowy tundra. You've then got this kind of forest biome that wraps around the mountains. And then you've got this kind of desert biome or this Mediterranean biome. So less stuff's going to grow around here, which is where we currently are. It's kind of this dotted, speckled look. Otherwise, you're going to get loads of vegetation in here, loads of farmland in here. This is cold, but you can, eat the snow and that's water. So this is a water supply. This one, yeah, not a lot out here, but you get the idea. There's also this brown area here. This is radiation. Bear that in mind. So, popping across, I'm just going to pause the game for a second whilst I pop across to show you this. This is the interactive map. And the reason I love this is you've got what's called map filters. So turning on map filters, the first thing we can do is look at points of interest. And this is going to show you everything in the map. So we can see over here, there's a junkyard, there's a gun range. So you go to a gun range, you're likely to find guns. You go to a junkyard, you're likely to find cars and things. If you understand what you're looking for, there's a hospital. Go to a hospital, you're likely to find supplies. So there's a lot of different things to consider. You'll get wood from the lumber mill, etc., etc. Now, you don't need to, oh, by the way, you're likely to find motorbikes at a motorbike track. You don't need to copy this. There's also salt ponds where you'll get salt from. At the moment, there's 25 squares. It takes a long time to walk. So we want to find vehicles. Like one of the first things to do is survival. You want to be able to survive food and water. Then it's inventory space, right? With survival is a way to defend yourself. Then it's inventory space, so you can start looting. Once you've got some loot, you can start crafting better items, finding better stuff. So then you can start to defend yourself better with better armor, better guns, better gear. Then you need to be able to travel further. So you're going to need a vehicle to be able to do that. There's no real benefit to building a base at the moment. Hopefully that changes in the future, but for now, it's not in our interest. What I really want you to focus on at the moment, though, is going to be vehicles. So we can look at vehicle spawns. Now, at the moment, before we do any of that, let's have a current look at where we are on the map and where we spawned. So we're currently in a little area in B4. So we're here, and we are right now, if we zoom in here, okay, this is where we are. So what's really cool about this is if we zoom in and make this much bigger, and I type in vehicle spawns, there are 3 vehicle spawns. Now, it just so happens that in the map at the moment, I am in a garage, and in that garage, there is a vehicle spawn. So if I have a look at buildings, I can turn all of the buildings on. This is going to show us everything that we can get an idea from here. So car garages. There's 2 car garages, and we're currently in this one, and there's a vehicle that spawned inside this garage. So we can get an idea of what we're likely to find in this area. We can also find things like, because there's different types of vehicle spawns. Right, so there's wheelbarrow spawns, potential motorbike spawns, so things to consider. Once we understand the vehicle spawns, we can also look at things like crops. So here we can see there's potential crops and things like that. So apple trees, we can get an idea of how to survive. Now, the game doesn't kind of give you this as standard. The other thing to consider are bunkers. Now, bunkers, there's 3 types. There's secret, abandoned, and active. Active bunkers is where you're going to get your end game loot from. But we're not ready to go there yet. There's going to be sentries. Sentries are like mechs that we're going to get destroyed. In big towns, there's going to be NPCs. NPCs can have guns. They might have spears and swords. They might have bows and arrows and crossbows. They might have guns. It depends. So to get started, we're going to use this map as a way to help us to learn our way around. And that is scum-map.com. All right, so we found a car. Pretty cool. Now, we could take this car, and this would solve all of our problems. We've also got some sardines. This is a Ranger, and by the way, look at how much storage space this has. It is insane. The problem at the moment is we can't do anything with it. I can nudge it forward. Can't kind of get it out of the garage. It doesn't have a seat. Without a seat, we cannot use it. So we have to have seats. Now, we can start removing parts of this, and the parts that we remove, we can take and sell. Give ourselves some money. But in order to repair this, what we would, and by the way, I'm not going to do that, by the way. So that item that I've just picked up, I'm going to jump on the floor. Yeah, so you can kind of see inside, right? I need a seat, 4 wheels, and an engine. There's no engine in this car. I can go and buy stuff from traders, and I can do up these cars. Unfortunately, though, at the moment, I can't put an engine in it, which is unfortunate. So whilst this would be amazing to have, it's not something we're going to be able to do early game. So we're going to ignore that for now. And instead, we're going to head out, and we're looking for a bike. So we're going to be looking for our bike spawns. And we know that there's a few of them here. So coming back out and looking where we are, there's this kind of dirt road that kind of runs through. Now, if we come back out here, just to kind of orientate ourselves, okay, you kind of get the idea. There we go. This dirt road splits. And this, well, it should split. We can kind of run up. Maybe I got too far, so... Okay, as we come in, some buildings on the left here. And it should split off to the right as we keep going. And we are kind of looking for... There we go, it splits there to the right. So as we're looking on the map, you can't see this, but you can on the interactive map. So again, just quickly coming across and showing you on the interactive map, you can see we're here, where it splits off to the right. So that's how we're going to orientate ourselves to start with. Now we can see that there is a potential motorbike spawn here. Now one hasn't spawned. It doesn't have to be a motorbike. It could be a push bike. This is where we are likely to find a bike. And what we want to do first and foremost is make sure we get some form of transportation. The only other place where there's a potential bike is at the other end of this. So we're going to run through. Again, just trying to make sure there's no puppets. We haven't seen any puppets yet. We are going to take our time though. Just be a little bit careful. Alright, so this is abandoned. There's nothing here. Good to know. So again, this is another spawn location where we could potentially find a bike. There is nothing here. So this place is somewhere where we can go and look around and loot. But there's not much here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from little town to little town, little... it's not even a town, this is kind of not even a village, this is just a settlement. But this is where we're going to look around and get a good idea of, again, all of the stuff that we can do and that we can look at. So, yeah, not really much here. We'll look on the house on the other side. So we've looked inside that garage. Again, there is a car there, which is amazing. Cars can spawn inside garages. We're going to look inside. Kitchen area, more likely to find kitchen materials like knives, food, cigarettes in this case, things like that. By the way, we're going to open up, we're going to check the taste of this. They're mild. We can eat sardines. So we'll eat that food that we found. And that's it. We just want to survive right now. We want to survive and we want to find clothing that's going to help us to, maybe in the bedroom, we might find clothing. There we go, a trucker jacket, perfect. So now we put that on, we've got a jacket on, and look at that. Huge, and a weapon holster as well. Melee weapon holster. And a needle. So already, and you may go and find nothing at all. But already we've got a trucker jacket, and we've got a weapon holster, which is huge for us. We'll check the bed for cash. Check the table there. So just this first building alone has given us a huge amount of inventory space. Now, even though this has got more space, we can only carry 2 kilograms. So if we can put our arrows in there, that's fine. We can't really carry that much in terms of weight, which is why we kind of want to keep all of this stuff if we can. We can't put that in there, by the way. This is only for a weapon. So we can't do anything there. We don't have a gun at the moment, but when we do, that's a place that we can keep it. All right, all good. Medicine cabinets, unless they're broken, sometimes have drugs in them. Washing machines sometimes have clothes in them. Wine cabinets sometimes have alcohol in them. Rubbish sometimes has anything. So you kind of get the idea. We're going to look around. There's some carrot seeds. We're not farming at the moment, so kind of irrelevant to us. There's a water pump. We can check this. It's got 0 water in it. Oh. We'll take the apples with us. We'll eat one now. So again, the good thing about this is now you can see we've got our sardines that we've eaten. And now we've got our apple that we've eaten. Another tree we can search. All right, nothing there. Looks like a pear tree. If we look at the, they're mild. So, okay, we'll pick down. We've got some fruit now. So fruit's going to give us water and also food, a bit of substance. So we're okay. So we'll just work our way up on the outside here. Check this car, see if there's anything valuable. Not really at the moment. So nothing we really want to take with us there. We'll check this. Nothing really in here. Oh. We've got a Ranger truck door. But also we have this, which is an alternator. Now, we want to carry that, but we can't carry it in our jacket, right? So what we're going to do is put all of this here. Because of the weight of this, we're going to put it in our backpack. That's pretty cool. So we can find some things that we can use in the car, but we're not going to be able to rebuild a full engine at the moment. We need to service a vehicle. We need a jack. So we need to look in those. So we're going to look in those places primarily for vehicles, but also for a jack. Let's find some food or potentially a kitchen knife. No, nothing in here. All right, we've got a woodcutter shirt. So this shirt at the moment has 1 space. This one has 2. And also kind of looks a little bit better. If we took our jacket off, we're now wearing this. I can also put a cap on as well. Now that our shirt, we can actually cut that into rags because we don't need it anymore. Rags are going to help us if we get a cut and we need to bandage ourselves up. So we'll keep some rags on us. And we'll keep these in our shirt. All right. Overall, you can see we're making good progress just by looking around. Got some cash in a bed. So money in a mattress. I always find that quite funny. Some short pants and some gloves. Gloves stop our hands from getting abrasions, so they're important. Short pants, a bit more inventory space. The only problem now is that all of these have a temperature warning on them, which means if we look at our health, we're at 36.6. It's okay, but we're in a hot climate and we're wearing a lot of clothes. So potentially, oh, we also got a different woodcutter shirt. This one's not as good, but it is red. So we can choose how we want to dress our character up. You know, what do we want to wear? And again, if we wanted to, we could cut that up into rags. And now we can start to think about making that quiver that we needed the rags for. So we couldn't craft the quiver before because we didn't have the ability to do it. We need some rope and we need a stick. So outside, chop down a tree. So not this one because we're going to search this one. Grab some food. All right, so this is a nice little orchard. We could set a base up here. We could take one of these buildings, use it as a base. I'm not going to do that though. I actually need to cut this down. I'm not going to go for a tree. I'm just going to cut this down. I need 5 small sticks. Now this one is going to give me 1, 2, 3, but with 2 long ones, I can make that. Make some rope. Craft some rope, and then from there, I can make an improvised quiver. So I'm going to have the rags, the stick, and the rope. So go ahead and craft that. That's the basics of inventory management, which is the biggest bottleneck at the start. So now, the next thing that we want to do, the most important thing, is we want to upgrade our gear. The way that we're going to upgrade our gear, we'll just put our stuff in there. All right, the way that we're going to upgrade our gear is we have to be able to find some thread. So thread is our next mission. See if we can find some thread. Over here, not really much we can do here. Sometimes there's like candles and things that we can pick up here. There's no puppets or anything yet, so we haven't come into contact with anything dangerous. Doesn't mean we won't. All right, we'll have a quick look upstairs. It's just rubbish and trash here. I don't think we're going to find anything valuable. All right. We'll jump over sometimes, but no, there's just a couple of boxes here, but yeah, nothing in it. Nothing. We can get damaged as well by falling, so be careful, but oh, look, there's a whole orchard here. So we can search each of these containers and look, grapes. I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, this little place on a map, if we set this up as a base, we've got food. Only problem is we don't have water. So now we're going to come back down this side and we're going to have a look at some of these buildings. Safety goggles and a flare. I mean, we could take that stuff if we wanted to, but I don't really feel like there's any value to doing that. Oh, feathers. We'll take the feathers because we can use that to make better items. crossbow bolts, so we can make an improvised crossbow, but also we can make sort of steel or metal tipped arrows. All right, now this is a workshop. In a workshop, you're going to find these. This is a drill press. Now in crafting, if we go to base building, we can actually make ourselves. So one of the things that we can build is we can build ourselves a workbench. It's an improvised workbench, which means anything we craft on it is going to be 50% durability. And even ammo that we craft on it is going to have slightly less damage because we're not very good at crafting stuff ourselves. It's improvised, it's not good. This, however, is a drill press. So from here, we can craft things like bolts. Because if I went to items and I went to, let's say, bolts, and I wanted to craft them, they would need not only some metal scrap, but also a workbench. And there is a workbench here. So I can make bolts and I can make nails. Bolts and nails. So there are three things. So if I look at nails, there we go. So that's going to require metal scrap. So you've got metal scrap, and metal scrap on a workbench can be turned into bolts and nails. I think we're going to go for that one. We'll cut that one into rags instead. We're going to need a lot of rags to start with. Just in case we get injured or anything like that, we have to heal ourselves, but we'll gradually start getting rid of them. Eventually, we'll upgrade to better medical supplies. Do you know what? As much as I want that, I might just put the hard hat on. Keep me a little bit safer, you know? If I get shot, more chance of deflecting a bullet with a hard hat. Bolts and things like this. Now, you don't just want to be a loot goblin for no reason. At this stage of the game, we need to be quite considerate as to what we're building and what we're making. Some better gloves here, so I'll put those on instead of these driving gloves. I'll put the construction gloves on instead. Some matches so that we can light fires and things. Some nails. All right. That's it. Let's go upstairs, see what else we've got in the house. So we're making sure we've got a weapon in our hand because you never know when a puppet might spawn. Is that just going outside onto like a... Okay, cool. All right, some crocs and some ammo. We'll take ammo because it's going to be a long time before we can craft ammo. We can rest if we want to, but we're not going to. Some jeans. So let's have a look at these jeans. All right, we're going to open the inventory space. So let's look at what we're currently wearing. Pants. Our pants at the moment don't have a lot of space, but these jeans do. So we're going to equip these. So now we've got the jeans on, and we're looking less like, well, we're looking more like a construction worker now. I don't really feel like I need to wear the work helmet. I can leave that behind. It's all about the aesthetics, right, and how we look. Now there's another floor we can go up to. That looks like oh wow, another one. So we've already got a weapon holster. That one's at 88%, that one's at 99%. So we'll take the 99. We'll equip that. There's no money in the bed. All right, so pretty successful loot run so far with the basics. Let's go downstairs and pick one of our caps up. So we'll put that on. And look, we're good to go. So already we're looking less like a convict. And we've got loads and loads of inventory space now. Now we can put that in our pants. And yeah, we're good to go. All right, keep going. Just see if there's anything else we can check out in this house. Right, it's pretty much be the last one. So there's a chopping board there, but doesn't really have any value for us. Ah, look, a kitchen knife. Now a kitchen knife is going to be better than a stone knife. So we're going to take that, even though it's a butter knife. And we can also put that in our... it's now classed as a weapon. So whilst this one, which is a stone knife, by the way, we couldn't keep that in there. Don't ask me why, because it is a weapon. But this is now a weapon. We can leave it in there. Cool. So now if we have to fight, we can use the knife. Good. Oh, some scissors. We'll take that. Firefighting pants. All right. So do we prefer firefighting pants over the jeans? Same amount of stuff, but better condition, right? So we'll go and equip them instead. These we can cut into rags. Now we're looking like a proper construction worker. Look at how warm these are going to keep us though. And we've got some rags. Now these are dirty rags, but we can keep them. Because rags are rags. And it's a good start. Let's head upstairs. Quick check. We don't need to spend too long here. We don't need to look at everything. Boom. Thread. Thread is exactly what we were looking for. This is what we needed. And the fact that we've just found it is exactly why we're here. So now that we've got some thread, we need to find a needle. Now we found a needle already. We're very lucky. If we don't, we can go and kill a puppet. So now we're going to crafting. And the most important thing we need to make early game is going to be a improvised sewing kit. Now we picked up 9 thread. We've got 9 thread. We've got our needle. Wait a second. Oh, it needs 10. We are... This has got 9. We need 10. So we need a little bit more. A little bit more. Unfortunately, it wasn't full. So we still need to keep looking. The graffiti on the side of the house. It's all really cool. Really well done. But again, no bike. Nothing here. So we've kind of done all of this so far. So now what we need to do is consider, well, where are we going next? We need to find somewhere else to go and look. We need somewhere on the map. And I'm going to go this little place here. So we kind of want to head now east. The problem is we have absolutely no idea where east is. So we don't have a compass. So we need to kind of head. Now, I know we're heading down at the moment. So left this way should be, that's the water down there. And the water's kind of down here. You can see on the map, if you watch the map when you're running, you'll get the idea. All right, looking at health, exhaustion's kicking in. And also feeling hot. We've got too many clothes on at the moment. So look, we can take our shorts off. And we can even take the gloves off for now. Although the gloves, yeah, see, these have got 2. These are 4. So it tells you the heat. These are 1. So firefighting pants, 4 and 4. We're in a hot climate. We're in really hot clothes. Not the best idea. Because we're hot, we're going to be needing to drink more and quicker. But we've got nothing in our stomach at the moment, so let's go ahead and get some food. We'll just start eating a load of food. And we can walk while we do this. It's not a bad idea at the moment. And by the way, you can stack items within each other. So all of this is full with stuff on it, right? So what's really cool is we can stack this with a load of stuff that's not really important to us at the moment. So like things like glue we don't need. Some of these bandages right now, maybe we don't need in our pants. And so what we can do is we can take these off. We can put these pants on. And we can put these pants in our backpack. Oh, it's the weight. We can't because of how much they weigh. So we'd have to put them in our backpack because they weigh a lot because of the stuff they've got on them. Wait a minute. Why can't we? Oh, because we've got stuff in them, it won't let us. Oh, okay. That's new. I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know we couldn't do that. So, all right, ignore that. I was going to say you can you can put stuff inside each other, but you can't. We're going to leave these behind. We'll cut them into rags, however. Maybe there'll be better quality rags. Because these are 100%, these should be clean rags. Yep. So these are at 50%. Look, we'll get rid of these ones and we'll keep these ones instead. And then we'll get rid of these if we need to, but we'll just keep them for now because we've got a little bit of space left. All right, let's go. So keeping an eye on our health. Yep, we're all right. We're just a bit exhausted. Looking at where we're running to, so we're running in the right direction. All right, some more thread. That's our goal. So I kind of wanted to spend that first hour just giving you the basics to understand the game. So I think right now you've got a good understanding of how the game works. I'm not going to just keep treating this as like a beginner's guide. That was just the introduction, like the overview. So now this being like a Let's Play series, we're going to transition this into what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So obviously the goal is trying to escape the island. We need to build fame points. There's some buildings over there. And we need to survive. So we're going to have a little adventure and see how that works. Now, huge open land here now. All right, we can start to... We're still fully visible at the moment. All right. We're going to get our stamina back up. Looking around. Trying to get an idea. Obviously, there's a lot more here in terms of buildings. But we're just going to work through it systematically. Looking for puppets. Oh, there's another car, but it's got no engine again. Why do these cars not have engines? Nothing here to pick up. That is a car that we could drive. It would be ideal. Again, if you look, it's got tons of storage space. We could just use it as a container, but our main goal at the moment is looking for garages. There's a wheel and a tractor part. Pretty cool. If we find enough feathers, if we're lucky enough to find enough feathers, we'll swap over our bow, our arrows. A motorcycle mask. I don't really care for that. Anything that we can potentially sell at the trader worth money. Two box of nails and a box of bolts. That's huge. We'll take both of them, please. All right, so we're going to get rid of some of that. We'll move that down there. All right. We can sell those. So with boxes, we can take them out individually. It's pretty cool. Let's go over here. Might find some eggs if we're lucky. If not, might find a few feathers. A couple of eggs. Check them. Oh. I can hear a puppet. One sec. Let's just run away. So I heard an audio cue there, which means there's something nearby. We don't know where it is. Unless, hold on, was it my... No, it wasn't my stomach. So we know that there's something nearby. Because we heard it, we just don't know where it is. So we're going to see if we can find it. Could be in a building. There it is. So, all right, that is a puppet. They're just going to kind of walk around, meander. If I make a lot of noise, any puppet in the area will come and attack me. If I get too close, he'll start to attack me. I can also attack him, and then he will come and attack me. Now, he's geared up. which means he's going to need quite a few shots. Some of them are skinny. The skinny ones move quick and need less shots. The fat ones, they need more shots. We can search him now. First thing we can do when we search him is get back all of our arrows. All right, and some other stuff here. So he's got tactical military pants, which has got a lot more space than what we're currently using, but it's damaged and we need to repair it. If we walk away and leave this body, it will disappear. World containers, they do disappear after a while. If we chop it up, it will not disappear. So it is then a permanent feature in the world. Unless it degrades over time, it will just stay there. And we're going to chop this body up because, well, because we need to. So we could right click this and craft a bone needle. We can also take this human skin, but we need some stuff with that as well. We do want, this is going to be a bit of a problem for us. I'm going to get rid of the feathers for now and the bolts and the things that just don't matter. I genuinely don't need the cigarettes. Bolts aren't important right now. Feathers would be nice, but not right now. That's something we can deal with later. I'm going to put these bolts down here. I've got to be careful. I haven't got much space. And the reason for this is I want to take this human skin. But this human skin weighs 3 kilograms. So that's all I need at the moment. That's all I need. I would take a needle, but I've already got one. So I'll keep that needle I've got. And that's it. That's all I need right now at this stage. Search in here. There's nothing there. Right, we were getting eggs, weren't we? So let's grab these eggs and we'll eat them. We can see the condition of them. We'll eat the eggs. They're good for us. We could fry them if we wanted to. Get a pan and a fire going, but for now, that's fine. All right. And we wanted to look in these garages, so we've checked out. I believe we checked them both out. Nothing in there. More like a barn, but. Oh, look, there is a beanie, a diary, but also a cooking pot. So we could use that cooking pot. I am not going to use that at the moment because, again, I have to be selective with our space. Unless I get fortunate enough. Oh, soap. We'll absolutely take some soap. Then we can clean ourselves. Soap is actually quite rare, believe it or not. There's an upstairs as well. We can check this out. Looking in the vicinity, checking out the cupboards. Anything worth taking? Nope. Sometimes you can find backpacks and things like that. Cash in a mattress. If you go to the doctors and you search your doctors, you'll find an apple, which I find funny because an apple a day and all that. The devs have they've had some good fun with building this game, and it shows, and I respect it. That is a working cooker. We can actually use that to cook. So if we went to crafting and went to cooking, we can actually look at that. We've got gas stove rings and an oven, but we're missing a heat source. So we'd need a propane tank. We'd need to, or electric, but we can cook food and different stuff with that. But yeah, we're not in a position where we can do that yet because we need generators and just more stuff that we don't have. Check the mattresses. All right. Good to go. Not really much else there. Watering can, but be honest, we don't really care for that. So again, looking for vehicle spawns. These eggs don't look that good. They're slightly off. I think we can still eat it, but if we eat it, it will give us food repulsion. We need to make sure that that doesn't... If that goes up, we can get like food poison and stuff like that. So if it's slightly off, we can still eat it. It's okay. Yes. Okay, we need a vehicle jack, a car jack. This is important. This is a real problem now because this weighs 3 kilograms. Which means we've got to drop something. What do we drop? What do we drop? What do we need? What don't we need? We'll put the shorts on for now, and then we can put a couple of bandages in there. Okay, and then we can put these in there, so that's okay. With the money for now, that money can go in there. Bit of Tetris. We want the carjack. We can't do it. I think because because it's too long, isn't it? Okay. Wait, the carjack's too long, it won't fit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the carjack in our hand for now, because we want that carjack. That's a huge win for us. We'll take the duct tape and the bolts. All right, we need to go into town. But yeah, that is going to allow us, when we find a vehicle, to see what's wrong with it. There is a pharmacy here. We're going to go into the pharmacy. Always good. No, we don't want a glass. Any drugs? Any drugs we can find. We're going to search all these cupboards. Pressure dressing. Yep, we'll take that. Drugs are money. We want money. Drugs are money. Yes. Painkillers, we'll take those. So now we're going to start to get rid of some of the stuff we don't care about. Replace it with some of this stuff instead. Always worth checking everything in the pharmacy. Even the cash register. All right, let's head upstairs. So you're either going to get a standalone pharmacy. You'll get one that's part of like a pharmacy. Yes, we'll take emergency bandages. We don't care for the glass. Filing cabinets. I very rarely find anything in the boxes, but I guess it's worth looking. You never know. Yeah, medical cabinets all day long. Nice. Right, so we'll take that. We'll get rid of those. Take that. Don't want a bobby pin at the moment. The bobby pin and a screwdriver is what you would use to lockpick, which, if there was a police station, would be important. I think I checked this out. Did I not? I can't remember. Did I look in here? No, I did not. Right, sometimes we get good stuff in here. It's always worth checking. Not in this case. And also no bikes or anything, so there's another one here. Oh look, a propane tank. So it's got 18% propane in it. We're at a point right now where we've got the alternator, we've got the carjack, and we've got the propane tank, and it's kind of like, what do we take with us, you know? We could put the propane tank in the house and we can start cooking some food. I think that was the pharmacy. Yeah, it was. That's the back of the pharmacy. Means this is probably going to be the shop, like the supermarket. Supermarket could potentially have food or a safe. Could have money in it. Nothing in here though. It's a bit abandoned. Okay. Right, well that's good. Couple of extra buildings up the top. I don't actually really want to find anything else now because I don't have the space for it. So it's quite rare to get a pharmacy in somewhere like that. It's a little settlement. There's no police station here though. Right, let's have a little look in here, see what we can find. What we're looking for at this stage is a backpack. Like a hiking backpack or something much bigger. These are the places we're likely to find them. we just need to search, look around. If you find a hiking backpack, it's typically going to be, you're going to see it. You don't need to search everything. You'll kind of see it. All right. What's downstairs? Some rope. Okay, rope's good. We'll get rid of that. Take some rope. Because that's 50 rope. Oh, actually, if we do that, it's the weight, isn't it? So we'll have to move that and that down there. That can go there. We'll take one of those. Again, Tetris at the moment. Box of nails. We don't care about box of nails because we've already got that instead. Over here, potential for things. Oh, we're quite good. Bit of farming land, obviously. We could keep going, but I don't think we're going to find anything else of value in here. There's a tractor driver's seat. So if we found a tractor, that driving seat would be massive. And we know it's here. We could always come back if we need to. Oh, there's a bike. There's a bike. There's a bike. Nice. However, we have a problem. The problem that we have right now is we want to take this alternator, right? It weighs 5 kilograms. We want to take this car jack. It weighs 3. We can't fit them both in together. We're going to have to leave something behind because when we jump, unfortunately, we can't put that, like if we drop this, we can't put that on our back. Which means we've got to choose between the car jack and the alternator. We can't have both. And I kind of really want the car jack. We've got quite a long way to go to get down to here. I want the bike. I do want the bike. But the bike has no storage unless we put storage on it. So we have to make a very difficult decision right now what to leave behind. And I think it's going to have to be the car jack. As much as I don't want to. But I think I'm going to have to leave the car jack because, again, if I carry this and I get on the bike, which I want to do, it's going to leave it behind anyway. And there's nothing I can do to carry it. But we've got a bike, and that's a huge win. So let's go into town. We're going to head down to this this point here. The question is, how do we get there? Let's go out onto the main road or the dirt path. Right. Actually, no, I think we're heading north, right? Yeah, we want to head, it's that way. Also, how's our metabolism? We're okay. Health's okay. We're a bit exhausted, but we're all right. Yeah, so we want to head towards the water. This is a city bike, so it's not really made for doing cross-country stuff. I think we want to go this way. Down towards the bay here. I think... Yeah. So, right, we're just going to go cross-country here. So much better having a bike. So this, it's not a mountain bike, it's a city bike, which means it's going to struggle, which means we're going to exert a lot of pressure going up and down hills. And we've got to work our stamina out. But overall, we join this road up, take this road down. This is a solid start to the game. So, we're doing well. We've got loads of stuff. We'll head to the trader. We can buy some thread. So if we weren't able to find any, we can buy some. We found some, but we didn't find enough. So buying some thread is going to allow us to make better items. And we didn't find, unfortunately, we didn't find a better backpack. Right, we're getting a bit exhausted going over this bump here. Keeping an eye on that water over there, making sure we don't fly off the bike, because yes, you can fly off the bike as well. and hurt yourself. Especially if we hit like a branch or something. This is good. We want to head just because there's water here, so we need to get around that water. There it is, look, see it in front of us. There's the road. Alright, this is good. We've made it. Now there's a barrier on the road, so we can't get onto the road. But at least we can follow it along. When you get a bike, it really makes you appreciate walking. Now, game developers have got a job to do, which is they need to make a game painful enough for you to appreciate when you get something good. But they can't make it too painful that you quit. So a good game developer will make a game frustrating and painful to the point where you grind, so that when you achieve what it is you're grinding for, it feels valuable as opposed to a waste of time. If it feels like a waste of time, or if it's too painful, you'll quit. And a good game developer, the job of a good game developer is to ensure that sweet spot where you grind, but you get the reward and you feel good about it. One of the things that this game does that I think it does so well is a lot of people have referred to this as a running simulator because you just run everywhere. And the maps are so huge. And if you're not on PvP, because PvP is different, right? You want space. We need to stop because we've got no energy. Now, if you've got a game that requires you to run everywhere and it's painful to run, and then all of a sudden you get a car, it changes the entire game and you appreciate that car so much because you know how painful it is to run and you don't want to run. In PvP, if someone steals your car, it's very sad. But it's also really good when you steal someone else's car and it's full of loot. So there's, there's pros and cons to this. Now, this is quite a big town here, town of Preco, which means there's potentially going to be NPCs. They could have guns. At this stage, going up this hill, look at the exertion. So look at the red bar in the bottom left. We're using up so much stamina to climb this hill on this bike that if we get caught out, we're not going to be able to run away. In fact, we may have to stop in a minute. We don't have the stamina to keep going. Now we're hoping, because we're on a bike, we're not making much noise. Hopefully we're not going to get seen. But we do need to get our stamina up, get over this crest and get away. We don't want to spend any time here at the moment. There's a police station now on the right. NPCs will typically spawn around police stations. Not always, but typically. And so, yeah, we're not really ready for that yet. We'll come back there later, but not now. Okay, typically boat spawns are quite good. If you find a boat, boats always seem to have full fuel when you find them. So they're good storage, good fuel. So a boat early game, really good to have. Can't see one here though. NPCs can sometimes spawn here as well. Again, a little bit exhausted. This is the dirt path that we're going to take. So the road does continue round down the bottom, but we're going to take this dirt path here. Now, NPCs will typically, not always, but typically spawn if there is a vehicle. Look, there is a car there. That is a car that we could typically drive, but the NPCs may come out to defend it or to protect it. Now, I have no stamina at the moment, so I'm in trouble. It will need a car seat. Typically, the cars, they need work. You're not going to find a car ready to go. But now that we know that that's there, we can come back and fix it up. We just need to buy a car seat and make sure it's got wheels and an engine. And we don't have the jack at the moment because we left the jack behind. Now we could go and pick that jack up in a minute. or in a bit. We can go back to where we just was. We're actually rolling down this hill. This hill's too big for us. Or we could buy a jack at the trader. But the jack will tell us exactly what's wrong with the car and what we need to do because we can service the car. There's like an orchard there. Our heartbeat, you can hear the heartbeat going. We are really, really struggling. Like, we can see how high we are now compared to where it was. We've actually elevated quite a lot. And remember, we have 0 skills. We have no stats in our stamina or our endurance. Let's see. Yeah, we're struggling. All right, we want to kind of go around this way. We could have followed that path down there, but that's not the way we want to go. We want to go down this way. And then this is going to take us straight into here. So we're already in the kind of safe zone, if you like. And by the way, this would be part of, if we were doing tasks, this would be part of the tasks. And we could get our fame points. Now, I could enable it to turn it on to do that. And it would take us through the basics. You'll get about 16 fame points. But again, I'm not going to do those tasks. We're going to just head down. We are on, at the moment, 6 fame points. We've got 6 of them. And here we are. Welcome to the traders. This is a safe zone, so you're okay here. Now, the vehicles will get impounded after 2 hours, so we don't want to leave them for too long. It's completely walled up with a couple of entrances, front and back. There are 4 outposts inside. They're all laid out differently, but they all have the same facilities. And if you played Rust, it's very much similar to Safe Zone in Rust. So inside, and by the way, the 2 hours applies to anything in a green circle. So what we'll do, we'll just turn our bike around, so it's ready to go. All right, we're done. So here you'll see the signposts, and they'll tell you what everything is. So there's a bank, a general goods, a salon, barbershop, armory, mechanic, fishing, and a hospital. All right, let's go to the hospital first because we're here, and we can click on this guy.
I'll have a look.
And look, we don't have the fame points at the moment, so we can't even buy food from him. We don't have enough fame. We can do miscellaneous, so we can buy some miscellaneous stuff, medical stuff, basics, but we need fame points for a lot of it. So we can buy antibiotics. But look, we can sell.
Go ahead. You'll need these sooner or later.
We can sell him them. What else do we have to sell? 167 for the dressing, 58 for the vitamin pills. So we can sell that. Painkillers, 6 out of 8. We get 273 for that. And an emergency bandage, we get 69 for that. So whilst it's nice to have all of this stuff, at the moment we don't need it. We desperately need the cash. So we're going to sell that, make the money. We've now got more cash. We're at 689 cash. Nice. All right, that's the first job done. Now we're going to have a look for the mechanic. The armory over there. There's the mechanic. Get rid of that alternator that we bought, that we picked up, because that thing is...
Prices are not negotiable.
Again, so tools, car jack. We need 25 fame points to buy a car jack. So we can't even do that at the moment. So let's sell 1,067. That's a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money at the start for us. That was worth dragging that over here. All right. Now, general goods. We don't have any weapons. I don't think we picked up any weapons. No. No, we didn't. No weapons. So, general goods. Now, in here, we can talk to this guy.
Here's what I got.
There's loads of stuff we can sell. But honestly, right now, I don't think we need to sell anything. We can keep our gloves on. There's nothing we should think about selling right now. Everything we can kind of keep. we're good. But what we do want to do is buy. So
Here's
we
what I
can
got.
buy, we need unlocks at 8 fame points. We don't have enough fame points at the moment to be able to unlock crafting materials. We want some fame to get some thread. So what can we do? We can press escape, go into options, and I can turn back on. The we don't need survival tip level. The first task. So now we've applied that first task, we should be able to go into here. I don't think it actually works. It should be working. That should be on now, so I don't need to enable her. Let's just check. I'm going to pick up.
Goodbye.
Hold on a sec. Let's. I don't want to turn her on. So if I turn her off, but let me just pick up some stones. Maybe if I search for some stones, and there should be some down here that I can. Here we go. No. Okay, just trying to find some stones I can search. Some of this is just cosmetics, unfortunately, and not actually. There'll be stones around here. If not, if you're really struggling, just go back outside. As soon as you go outside, there'll be some stones. Oh, there we go. Search for rocks. But no, can't do tasks. Let me just try it very quickly. I'm going to go back to the main menu and just come back into the game. So I'm just going to reload the game. See if that makes a difference. So we'll just go into continue. Sometimes you have to restart the server for this to take effect. Ah, okay, so now it's there. So I can craft a stone knife. Now, if I do this, I'm going to get 2 fame points. It's going to tell me what to do. It wants me to open this up. It wants me to go to crafting. Okay, it wants me to click on stone knife, which I can do. Details, craft, and then that's going to complete. And that's going to give me my 2 fame points. So it is worth going through the onboarding process. Now I need to pick that up. So I'll pick it up. Then I need to put it in my hands. Done. Task complete. I can get rid of that now. I don't need it. Now, the problem is that that is, I think, going to now carry on. And it's going to just do all of the tasks, which is fine. There we go, yeah. So it's going to push me through the onboarding process. Now, if I don't want to do this, for whatever reason, I just click here, and now that is not going to show anymore until I go back into it. Cool. So, yeah, that is in terms of options. That is the auto start first Dina task. So you need to have that turned on. But then again, you can, if you want to, tab, manual, and you can just untick it and wait there. All right. And so if I want to carry on with these because I want more fame points, I can get them. At the moment, though, I'm not going to bother because I don't need to do that. So I've got enough fame points now. Because you only needed 8 already. And I've got 8. I've got exactly what I need. So I can come back in here. And I can get that thread.
Welcome, welcome.
There we go. Now crafting's
Feel
unlocked.
free to browse around.
I want to buy some thread, so you have to click on it, and it shows you how many you're buying. I only want to buy 1. Cash or bank card. I don't have a bank card. I destroyed it. So cash. All right, and we're going to go ahead and buy. And there's my thread. Done. So now I've got my thread. I've got my needle. I can now craft sewing kit. Now I've got a sewing kit. That is the first thing that we have to be able to do in this game. We have to be able to make a sewing kit. Now, next thing we need to focus on is getting some more space in our inventory and obviously creating some storage and stuff like that. So we can now, because we've got our human skin, because of the puppet that we killed, we can make an animal skin quiver. So this is going to require a sewing kit, cutting tool, and a skin. So we can go ahead and craft that. We've only got the one skin at the moment, so we can only do this. But it's going to give us double the space. And this one disintegrates in a couple of days. This one won't. So I'll take out these items. I will now cut that one into rags. And instead, I'll put this one on. The next thing I need is a much bigger backpack. So ideally, we want a hiking backpack. But they're hard to find. And if we don't have one, the next best thing for us to do... Okay, there's just a few bits we'll keep there. The next best thing for us to do if we can't do that is to craft ourselves the improvised backpack. Now we've got the rags. This is why I've kept loads of rags, because we're going to need those. We can cut the shorts up in a bit. We need 2 skins. We've got the rope. We've got the stone kit. So now we just need to go and get 2 skins, which is just killing two NPCs. Or not two NPCs, sorry, 2 puppets. Also, whilst we're in here, the next thing that we need to do in here is there's a quest book that we can open.
Feel free to browse.
And the first thing it's going to tell us we need to do is find a mobile phone. It's the only quest we can do. We're going to accept that quest. And now we need to find a mobile phone. That is our objective. So now we know what to do. 2 puppets and a mobile phone. That's our goal. So we can go and head into this town here. Now, we have to be careful because this town could be NPCs there, and NPCs can have guns. And after everything we've done today, the last thing, what we really don't want is to die. Because that would just be like really sad if we were to die at this stage. So what we're going to do, we're going to start heading in. We're going to see if we can find a mobile phone. Now, we could also find a mobile phone, by the way. It's possible in a car. And so we might, just by looking for all these scrap cars, find a phone. But you're more likely to find a phone, I find, on a puppet. And the best place to find puppets is going to be in that town. So as long as there's no NPCs with a gun, we'll be okay. So we're going to take our bike. We're going to ride it back up over the crest. And then we're going to go and see if we can find ourselves a mobile phone, 2 puppets, because then we can craft a better backpack. And that is kind of our objective for today. That's a great start. That means we've gone through the basics and we've survived. And metabolism, energy's low. We do need to eat something. Stomach's empty. We don't have any food on us at the moment, so we're going to have to find some food. Again, we don't really want to forage bushes. We really want to cook some food now. So if we're going to cook vegetables, we need both mushrooms and vegetables. So having a quick look while we get our stuff back here. So the only thing we can cook at the start is going to be these skewers. That's all we can do. So a vegetable skewer, which is all we can make, is going to require both a vegetable and a mushroom. So a bell pepper, a carrot, onion, tomato, zucchini, corn, or potato, any of those, and any mushroom. But we have to be careful because some of these mushrooms, they're psychedelic, which means if we cook them and it's slow releasing food, it will slowly release the psychedelics over time. It will kill you. If you were to cook yourself some psychedelic mushrooms into a vegetable skewer and you don't treat it, you'll die. Because you'll just get paranoid and you'll get more paranoid and schizophrenic, and eventually you'll lose your mind. So you'll have to find a cure. And finding cures for psychedelics, you need activated charcoal. That's not easy to find in early game. You can't necessarily afford to go and buy it from a trader. You don't have the fame points. So we have to be very careful what we eat. Right, now there's a little orchard here. Just checking. Could be NPCs here. I don't think there is. It could be puppets. We're listening out. Okay, it seems like it's safe. We'll leave our bike here for a minute and we're going to have a little look around. We actually do want to find some puppets, so the fact there's no puppets here is a little bit sad. But yeah, there's some food here growing. Let's search this. We might get lucky, although, again, this is kind of like the desert biome, so food is scarce. We've got a cucumber. We can't do anything with that cucumber apart from eat it. But at least that'll give us some water. All right, then we'll go inside. I don't know if there's like an office building or something, or a house attached to it. I don't know. There's like a vending machine in there. We're going to go and check it out. You never know. We might get lucky. We're trying to craft a backpack, but if we find a backpack, well, then we don't need to craft one. Frying pan. We'll take it for now, but we could end up dropping it if we find something better. Short trousers. So short trousers are only one as opposed to these, which same amount of space. But the reason we want these is because we're in a hot climate right now, and these are 4. So in terms of if you were to examine these, actually, do you know what? You can't see them there because for whatever reason, but you can see. Oh, I think you need to wear them to see it, but look, you can see it's 4 heat. Whereas we put these on, this one's only 1. So we actually don't want these. Make sure there's nothing left in them. We'll take these ones instead. Just because it's a different climate, right? But what we can do with these is chop them up. Because we need the rags to make the bag. Or the improvised rucksack. So just need 2 puppets. And that sounded like our stomach because we're still hungry. So we need to eat something. So let's head out. Into the garage here. So look, we've got a press that we can use if we need to. Good to know that's there. Insulating rubber gloves. We don't really need those at the moment. That's good to know though. Okay, so this kind of looks like it was a cafe or something at one point. We'll take that so we get some drink. We're actually quite thirsty at the moment, so we'll have a drink because we're at 70%. And we'll keep that empty can because we can refill it with fresh water. Oh, we don't really want any of those. All right. That's kind of it from up here. Let's go down. We're going to search the cars. Nothing in there. Next building. There's this solo building here, but there is a vehicle spawn. And the vehicle's there, which means, again, it's possible there could be an NPC here to protect it. Has it got an engine? No, it does not have an engine. Doesn't have an engine or a seat. So this car, not in good condition. What we could do is strip this car and take it up and sell the parts at the mechanics. That would be pretty good. No puppets. Can't hear an NPC. We're going to check first. That looks clean. Okay, we'll loot. Knee-high socks. I mean, I guess we wear them in case we need rags later. Oh, look, there's a better knife here as well. We'll take that. We'll get rid of that knife. We'll take that one instead. It's a Bushman. It's just a better knife. Does more damage. Well, obviously no butter knife, right? We definitely need food, are we not? Wine cork. You know, if we take it, we need a couple of wine corks. A lot of people look at them and overlook them and think, what's the point? I'm not going to get a wine cork. If you get 2 wine corks, you can sort out a lot of the food issues because you can make a fishing reel with wine corks. And when you've got a fishing reel, you can go fishing. That's gonna solve a lot of issues with food. All right, still struggling. All right, here we go. There's going to be puppets down here. There's possibly going to be this very high probability of an NPC down here. So we want to be very quiet. We don't want to make any noise. We definitely don't want to alert them that we're here. All right. Let's just quickly check the map. And yeah, we're good to go. Let's go get these puppets. There's an NPC. I can see the NPC there. Can you see just gone like over there with the orange trousers on? You can see him running around. He's got orange trousers on. That is an NPC. He's running around. Now I don't know what he's got in terms of a weapon. We've seen him. He hasn't seen us. We're going to have to go and try and kill him. We're going to leave our bike here. Right, he was at that door there. We don't know where he went. We don't know if he's got a gun. We're listening, we can't hear anything. There he is. Right, he hasn't seen us yet. He's over here, he hasn't seen us. Looks like he's only got a melee weapon. He has to come back this way. So we've got the advantage that he has to come back this way. And we're hiding. He's just standing there. He's only got a weapon in his hand. So he can't do anything. He's literally watching me because I'm ranged and he has a melee weapon. But that is an NPC. with a spear. Oh, we've got survival tips turned on. Let me just turn those off. Whoops. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to have those turned on. All right. So what do we pick up there? He had an improvised stone spear. He also had a grapefruit, which looks like it's in spoiled condition, which means if I try and eat it, food repulsion. We're okay. Rag shoes, improvised stone spear. Right, what we can do is we can chop this body up. Now, NPCs are not always on their own. Sometimes there could be more than one. We watched him. We come and observed him before we killed him, so we was very careful about it. But now we've chopped him up. What is super important, oh look, now we can see there's over there, there's a puppet. Right, we want the human skin, right? That's super important for us. We're going to leave the frying pan for now. That's not a problem for us. We're going to just chuck some rags on the floor. What we're going to do is we're going to chop up the legs and the arms and all of that stuff. And that is going to allow us to make some food. And then we can cook. The bladder's full as well, so we need to empty our bladder. So there we go. Look, we've got some meat now. Human steaks. Right, let's just go to the toilet. Some fish down there. Oh, we can turn off the censoring now as well. The censoring was a problem before because at the start of the game we didn't want to see that, but that's better now. It's fine. We just don't want we don't want to get YouTube strike for nudity. Right, can't do feet, but we can do arms. So and by the way, with meat, the great thing about meat is you don't need vegetables. So we can cook meat with just meat, whereas vegetables need mushrooms and vegetables. Meat you can do on its own. We'll do the torso. Right, we just need to move a few things. I think we have a need. We don't have a needle anymore. We've got sewing kit though. That's because we're fine with that. Okay. Right, we'll take that. We're going to take our time. There's no rush here. There's two puppets over there that I can see. So the puppets weren't spawning before because the NPC had killed them all. Because NPCs fight puppets. Now the NPC's gone, the puppets are back. Always an easy sign to see if there's an NPC is if there's puppets or not. We'll do this leg. We're not going to need bandages, so we can get rid of those. This is going to sort all of our food out for ages. Right, what else? I think that's all of it. Yep. So, what can we get rid of? For now, we'll get rid of the bolts. We don't need bolts for now. They can go. We want to take as many of the steaks as we can so we can cook them. I think we've got all of the rest of them. I think that's good. There's a couple in here. Take those as well. Get rid of bandages for now. We'll take the steaks. Right. Anything in the drinks machine? No. Oh, crap. This is not good. I don't know where our knife is. We don't have it on a hotkey. I have to just punch him to death. This is going to take forever. Come on. Okay, he's dead. He's dead. Oh my god. What happened there? That needs to be on a hotkey. Right, what have we got injury-wise? Loads of bleeds and some infections. All right, look, we can fix these. Let's go outside. We had all those rags that we didn't use. So let's just stop here for a second and we're going to deal with some of these bleeds. We'll deal with them by putting rags on. As you start to put a rag on the bleed, you'll see it starts to fix it. I'm sure we have more rags than this though, right? Did we not? I'm sure we threw loads of rags on the floor. We technically don't need to do anything with this. If we wait, we'll heal up. But look, we can fix this. We can use these, and that's how we'd heal ourselves. So I wanted to show the process of healing yourselves. If you don't deal with C1, it becomes a C2. Then you need to deal with it. C1s will deal with themselves. So that was just like scratches that we got. But yeah, look, that's all getting better now. Lost a bit of blood. We're at 50% health. That could have been so much worse. I really wasn't prepared for that. Let's chop this guy up. Oh, car batteries there. Construction boots. We don't care about the construction boots. We just want... Look at our socks. They are some good socks. Right, we just want the human skin. And so in order to carry that with us... okay. We'll come back to this in a minute. Do we have... Where's our... Oh, we've lost our axe? No, did we leave our axe behind somewhere? We must have done. I think we got so carried away with everything we was doing. We... search these. Oh, we can eat those dates. Right, we need to cook some food. Best way to do this. Oh, there's a boat there. Nice, we've got a boat. Right, this is good progress. Let's just square all this stuff away before we lose anything. We need to chop down. We've got a knife. We need to cut this down. All right, so small. That's going to give us 4 small. We need 1 more small. Because we're in town, we need to look around and be a little bit careful. We need 1 more stick. Actually, we're going to need a few more sticks, but... Have we got matches on us? We've got matches, we're okay. So we don't need a fire lighter. We'll take that in our hands. Right, so in terms of building, we'll do this here. What we can do in terms of building is we can take all of the items that we've got here, like this one, we can cut into smaller sticks. So we've got all these small sticks. We can take all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and turn them into a stick bundle. And with a stick bundle, we can carry that. And we're going to head down the bottom there. Because we kind of want to stay out the way for a minute. We've got a bit of stuff to do. So we're going to just chill here while we do this. Kind of stay out the way of everything else. Just for now. We're good. Okay, so in terms of building, we're going to go crafting, building, and we're going to make ourselves a fire. Improvised fire. We're going to place this down just here. We're going to fill it with everything we need. We can't do the sticks. So we've got to uncraft the bundle. Then we'll put all those in there. Then we'll light the fire. Cool. And then we'll cook meat. So meat skewer. And all we need to do is add the meat. We'll do 2 of these. We'll add the meat there as well. We don't have any salt and pepper at the moment, so we're just going to go ahead and cook them. Cool, they're cooking. So we'll leave that to cook. And we'll go and see, because there's a market up here. And if we find a market, possibly, we could get some salt and pepper for next time. Now, there's nothing there. In here, apple and tequila. We'll eat the apple. Tequila's obviously alcohol. We don't want alcohol right now. There's a tomato. We'll take the tomato. Right, nothing else there. Okay, cool. Just thought we'd have a quick check just to see. Could have got lucky. Right, now our food should be ready. Anything in there? A peach and some cash. All right, let's go. We want to make sure we don't burn our food. So checking on our food. 4 minutes left. We're fine. We're fine. All right. So looking at something like a mixed skewer, it would need meat, vegetables, and mushrooms. A meat skewer just needs meat. A vegetable skewer just needs vegetables. These have got 2 minutes left. Now, they're not great because we don't have salt and pepper. But we'll eat the tomato, we'll eat peach and everything else. And then we'll eat some meat. I know it's human meat, but we're all good. As soon as this is green, we can pull it off. So we could technically pull this off now. We'll just wait for a little bit longer. If I press that, poorly cooked. I got 2 stars for poorly cooked. Wait for this one, give it a little bit longer. This one I got 2 stars, poorly cooked. But it's better than nothing. So we'll start that one. We're going to cook all this meat. Now we know how that works. And now we have meat skewers. So we can eat that. And that is going to look at all the stuff we've got processing through our stomach now. That's it. I know we're eating next to the rubbish and that's not nice, but we're no problems anymore. Exhaustion's being done. We're feeling hot, but that's because we're standing right next to the fire. So if we move a bit, we'll be okay. I don't know how that got up there, but we could also go for a swim, but that's fine. Now, whilst that's cooking, we saw a boat round here. We're going to go and get that because that is a spawn point. The boat has spawned. We're going to jump in it and we're going to drive it. It will have full fuel because it always does. And we've now got a boat. What an upgrade from a bike. Now it's left a spawn point. It means, because spawns normally last for like a week and then they despawn. But now we've got ourselves a boat. We've got ourselves a boat. We've got ourselves... And by the way, the boat, if you're close enough to it, has... oh, we'd have to like jump into it to be able to open inventory. Look at that. Loads of space. Not as much as like cars and stuff, but still. Really good. We're going to check out... Just because we're feeling hot, because we're too close to the fire. Which because we've got a lot of clothes on and stuff and it's hot climate, but that's cool. We just want to finish cooking. Get these meat skewers. And then as we get this meat, we can start with these animal skins. All these human skins, we need 3 of them, and then we can go make that backpack. So we're going to do that. Once we've made the backpack, that's it. We're done for the day. We've achieved a lot. We can also start to put a load of stuff in the boat now. So look looking at? Poorly cooked. That's fine. We knew it was going to be poorly cooked anyway, so we can just go ahead, meat skewer, make another one. Cool. Right, they're both cooking. We're going to leave that human skin on the floor there for now. That will be okay for a minute. And we're going to head down here. Cool. Right, there's 2 here. He's dead. This one's a lot skinnier. Oh, should fall a lot easier. So the bigger ones, they take more. Cool. Chop the bodies up. Now again, we only want the skin at the moment, so if we move that, we can take that human skin, take our arrows back. Can't really do anything else for the rest of that. Don't really care about the rest of it, to be honest, at the moment. Oh wow, there's loads of them. This one's not actually bothered by me at the moment, so okay. Keeping our eye out. Nothing else around. We'll take that. Chop up the body. Again, it's the skins that we want. And then we're going to go back and get our food. And I think that should be everything we need. Cool. What we'll do, we'll go to inventory. Remove that one from hands. It'll put it away. We'll put that one in our hands and away we go. Now, energy's at 57%, which means obviously the meat's going to take some time to kick through. Hope I didn't burn this. Oh, I did. Badly cooked and poorly cooked. All right, well, we're okay. It could be worse. Let's do the last 2. All right, we've got 2 human skins there. We've got everything else we need there. So let's go to crafting, items, clothing, backpack. What do we need? We need bandages. Oh, we used all our bandages up, didn't we? Crap. All right, let's cut that into rags because we don't need them. God, we didn't even need to heal ourselves, but we did. That was such a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need one more. Was there one more around here? Yes, there is. There's 2 there. We're going to use good quality ones as best as we can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we use that one as 6. 2 of the animal skins. Everything we need. Craft. Improvised backpack. That was a huge win for us to get to that stage because this one, just 9 slots. I say 9 slots because I treat a 4 as 1, even though it's technically 4 slots. But that's like, to me, that's 9 slots. I can also chuck all this stuff on the floor, break that down, get some more rags. But we've got the best we can get in terms of our crafted gear. So let's just get rid of all this for a minute. Check out the cooking. We're good. All right, and then we're going to go from this one to this one. Boom. And then we can go ahead and cut that into rags. Improvised backpack, animal skin quiver. Lucky that we picked up a few other bits. Also, this is 40 kilograms now, so it weighs a lot more. We can pick all the stuff up that we want to keep. Nice. That food. Yeah, like a minute left. And we got a boat. And yeah, so that's it for today. Health, no problems. Metabolism is getting better because we're processing some food. We can obviously keep eating our meat. Crafting. Poorly cooked, but it's ready. We're good. We will leave it there for today. We still need to find a mobile phone. We'll carry on doing that tomorrow. We'll go and search all of the towns, see if we can find a mobile phone. Any other bits that we want to take with us? We could take a frying pan, a little bit of animal fat. To be honest, there's nothing else we really want. I don't know if we checked in here. I got a little bit carried away before, but there's some rags, a few other things. Yeah, nothing we really care about in there. Oh, what was that? Hold on. Car radio, yes. Dirt bike headlights, yes. We can sell those. Carry them with us. We have to craft a new stone axe. We'll craft a new stone axe, but I guess for now we've got the stone spear. We could take that. We're good. We'll jump in our boat. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. So, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the introduction to this. I know we've run over a little bit. Sorry, I was trying to keep it to 2 hours, but quite a lot happened at the end there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for the next video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.